two or three very seminal things happened, which I think I can recognize in the hindsight as something which changed me for good. And number one was when I was perhaps 8 years old or 10 years old, I saw somebody reading an English newspaper or book, English book, and in my realm of things that was not known. And when I saw this, I suddenly realized, without articulating, I think at that point, but that anybody could do anything. So having done that, then the only thing that was there was knowing, because knowing was necessary to do anything. So knowing became a path. And learning. So I didn't even sort of understand. I didn't even really need to know nothing. But I said, without again articulation perhaps at that point, that if I know, then at least I am better off than somebody else, because something can be done with this. So that was one very sort of interesting thing. The other thing that happened, I think, is when when I started reading, then more and more of it became sort of connected. So I learned to connect things, which was seemingly unconnected things. If you can connect them, learning becomes so much easier. And that, again, I think there is no way to teach that. Nobody teaches that either. That perhaps can also be taught. But coming back to curiosity, I digress too much, actually. I think once you're curious about something, then it becomes a stepping stone, because once you know something, then you connect it to something else as well as, and you want to know more, because then you realize what you don't know. So curiosity is a kind of an endless process, really. It never really finishes, and it sustains itself. Not many things sustain themselves. So once you become curious, then I think everything changes and your outlook about things changes. And unfortunately, as of now, I think what we know about curiosity is more from a psychologist's point of view than any practical uses or practical implementation of triggering curiosity or using curiosity as a developmental tool of any kind. So Curiosity Center really would try to understand how curiosity can be imparted or triggered, and then attempt to develop some indices of measurement of change, and whether it helps in other things like academic progress or whatever else. Then once we're doing that, we will also try to, of course, popularize it and propagate it. But while doing so, we will also realize that we may not know a lot of things about curiosity, then it can trigger academic research in those areas. And once we have developed some measurement indices and we see that it has some kind of positive correlation with progress, success, whatever, or development of a student, or anybody else for that matter, then we would have to find, and we will find, ways and means of propagating it on a much, much larger scale, internationally or in a given country or whatever. Because I also suspect that curiosity may also be culturally sensitive and culturally dependent, triggering, and thus triggering of curiosity as well. So, but we had to learn that and then use that in a systematic manner. Sometimes also I wonder about, are there anything called innate curiosity or intrinsic curiosity versus cultivated curiosities? We don't know. I don't know if enough is known about that. Similarly, if the different kind of curiosities, on the face of it, it appears there are different kind of curiosities, because a lot of people are interested in science and they're curious about science or some aspect of science. Some people are interested about human beings or psychology, some other people music or math or what have you. So, but we don't really know if there are different kind of curiosities. There's some studies, but not really in a system, not in a manner which sort of defines it in a fairly accurate manner. once we start addressing these questions, we validate the concept that curiosity can change human lives for better. And then whatever else it takes in terms of learning more about curiosity by research or practical experience, as well as learning more about imparting curiosity, is the mission of